Hey guys, welcome back to this week's video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. Today we're going to do it a little bit differently. In fact, moving forward, I'm going to change the way I do these videos. And mainly because the production process takes forever to really brainstorm my topics, write an outline, and then practice. And so the topics will still generally be the same, but I'm going to speak more from the top of my head and really just talk based on experience and things that I'm learning throughout the week or things that I've learned over the course of my career. And so I'll still use slides and do video demos and things like that. But overall, my talk track, my conversation with you is going to be just from the heart and off the top of my head. So thanks so much for tuning in, and let's jump into it. Now, if you've watched any of my videos or read any of my content or talked to me in person, you know that I'm very passionate about audience intelligence. In fact, I can probably talk about it all day, but I'm not going to do that. I want to contextualize what I mean by audience intelligence, because I think there are several definitions in the marketplace, and the reality is that they're all true, because depending upon the context and what you do for a living, audience intelligence can mean something completely different to you than it does to me. So before I jump into dissecting this topic, I want to just spend a couple minutes talking about what audiences are and how you can define them. So are unique visitors to a website an audience? Yes. Are email subscribers or a list an audience? Yes. What about millennials who respond to a primary research study? Are they an audience? And the answer is yes. And then what about a brand's followers in social media? Are they an audience? And the answer is yes. And the reality is all those details matter. All of those data points, the insights, the intelligence that you get from those questions answered are important. They're not the details that I often look at, because I'm not necessarily buying large pieces of media. In some cases, I'll consult on how to do it the right way, but I'm not looking at performance and click-through rates and impression numbers, comparing one audience to another. I'm talking about using audience intelligence to inform a brand narrative, to inform a go-to-market strategy, to inform an editorial approach, to inform, yes, a tweet. Now, when I refer to audiences, I'm referring to people who self-identify as fitting into a category or a set of criteria that I set prior to my analysis. Now, let's take security professionals as an example, or engineers who work in cybersecurity. Now, what I would do is I would start with a bio search for engineer, programmer, developer, researcher, and then look for other common keywords like security or cybersecurity or malware or infosec or other keywords that are representative of someone working in security. And if that falls short, I then combine that with a content search. So are there people with engineer, programmer, or developer in their bio talking publicly about things like threat intelligence, network security, data ops, whatever the keywords are that represent, again, who I'm looking for. And then that is how I build my audience. Now, here's the thing. That in itself is a pretty solid audience, right? But even within an engineering or security engineering group, there are different types of people. There are senior engineers, there are business people, there are developers, there are DevOps, DevSecOps, you name it. And so it's important to segment this audience and look at those subtle differences between the subsegments of those working in security. So here's a great example of how you might do that. So this is an audience analysis, and this is a large security audience of 35,000 people. And I only had time to really segment 3 of those sub-audiences. You can see here security researcher, security engineer, and software engineer. And you can just see how they're connected, and the different sizes of the colors represent volume or volume of audience members in that clustered segment. And so I want to just talk about the differences and really analyze these 3 audiences to show you how different they are. Now, let's first start with the security researcher, and just based on their geography, the majority of them in our audience are based in India, US, and the UK, and their top 5 technology interests start with software, hardware, security, program language, and consumer electronics. Then down here, what you can see are media preferences. Now, this is Hack Media, Medium, The Verge, Ars Technica, Gizmodo. These are the things that this audience has strong affinities for. Now, if you go to the right and look at the software engineer, you can see it's a slightly different geography, US, UK, and the Netherlands, and their top 5 technology interests are similar in some cases and different in others, right? Software and hardware are number 1 and 2. They like consumer electronics a little bit more than the security researcher does. They also like general internet technology, and then of course security, being that they work in this field. Now, what's interesting about this is that they like completely different media publications. Tech Native, Digital Trends, KD Nuggets, Data Science Central, IoT World. These are platforms that they go to when they are consuming content related to technology. Now, not necessarily security content per se, that's a different analysis, but these are the media publications that they reference the most and that they share the most in their individual profiles. And then the last audience here are security engineers. You can see very similar to the software engineer in that US and UK are the top geographies, but then you have Australia as being that third geography. And then interestingly enough, software and hardware are also their top interest, operating systems, tech news, and security. So again, not huge differences, but subtle enough to understand that they're different types of people, right? Over here, they prefer Medium, Ars Technica, The Verge, The Guardian, and Engadget. These are the media publications. Oh, and Slashdot here in the green. These are publications that they go to and that they have high affinities for. Now, this is important because as you're planning a program, as you're going to market, trying to reach these different engineering groups and security professionals, you have to go at them and target them with the right content in the right platforms and at the right time. And so when you do a segment analysis like this, you're equipped to provide more relevant content to those engineers and security engineers that you're trying to reach. And this little analysis is really the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more that you can do to better understand these audiences. As an example, I might do a conversation analysis on each one to understand some of the topics that are trending, some of the information, some of the media publications that they're sharing more so than others, looking for certain trends and spikes and valleys. I can also see who's influencing them based on who they follow and what they share. And so when you do a very deep dive analysis, I would call this like a persona analysis or audience persona intelligence, because you're building personas based on real data. So again, very quick 6-minute video. We can dive deeper into this. We can spend so much time talking about why audience intelligence is good for your business, good for your brand. But we only have limited time and it's getting late. So thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate you as usual for sharing my content. Please subscribe. Please let me know if you have any feedback. And until I see you next time, stay healthy and stay safe. Talk to you soon. Bye.